Samantha, and I'd like to extend to you a very warm welcome as we gather now united in love and friendship to honour and celebrate the life of the lovely Sheila. Although we grieve today for the absence of Sheila in our lives, we are comforted also that she is safe and well and proudly looking down on you all, guiding you from above. Whilst the way in which we must say our farewells is not as we would have hoped or wished for Sheila, we will still, regardless of all the obstacles in our way, provide her with a worthy and heartfelt celebration of life that we know she would approve of. Before we begin our service today, I would like for us to all have a few minutes of quiet reflection. Take some time to reflect upon your own personal memories of Sheila and the memories you have shared. And as we do so, we will listen to a track by Catherine Jenkins, Sheila's favourite piece of music.
Blau
Thank you. On our journey through this life, we live in hope that this journey will be joined by that special someone, joined with friendship and, more importantly, with love. True love will always stand well the test of time. And if we should by chance be this lucky and meet the true love that will abide with us for the whole of our journey, then we are very lucky indeed. Such then are the sentiments related to me by Peter. When we spoke of Sheila, he speaks of her in such touching sincerity of their journey together. It is the 15th of September 1962 when a 17-year-old Sheila and 20-year-old Peter first met. A beautiful Sheila was stood in a beautiful pink flowery dress with a frilled neckline. Although regardless of this, Peter says they didn't exactly bond on their first meeting. It was fate and a healthy endorsement from Peter's mum that decided Peter and Sheila were meant to become one. And it all started with that cheeky kiss in the local bus station. And so from that point on, the fates were proved to be right, when in 1967 they were married. And although over the years they both enjoyed living together in different parts of the UK, and money would prove very tight in the early, or at least the first 6 years, as it always does for young married couples, the trials and tribulations were faced and overcome together. And perhaps it's worthy of a note that in the early years, I gather Sheila never complained about living away from her beloved Scotland, even though there must have been times when she sorely missed her folks back home. When their family arrived, Sheila was selfless in her devotion to the children. Both being unable to afford the expense of a car at that point, Sheila walked the children to school. A round journey every day of some 4 miles on good old Shank's pony. There are very fond memories of holidays spent north of the border, with Peter coming from Plymouth and Sheila from Fife. This husband and wife team certainly had the UK well covered. One memorable holiday was spent being literally blown away on the Isle of Wight. 1 minute, all were snugly tucked up in their tent. The very next minute, everyone found themselves sleeping rough, as it were. Perhaps Sheila was not the only force of nature around at that particular time. It would certainly be fair to say that she made a decision there and then that there would be no more camping. After years of dedication in bringing up their family, as the 2 girls waved bye-bye as they went off to university, Mum and Dad were now afforded the luxury of a healthier bank balance and realised they could look further afield come holiday time. Although there had been romantic holidays with Sheila's favourite overlooking an island on the Seine, now it was time to see more of the world and the good old US of A. The world became their oyster, as it were, and truly fantastic times were spent together during their globe-trotting year. I think it is very fair to say that my overriding impression of Sheila is that her life was hallmarked by her ability to apply herself. Whether this be to marriage, parenting, travel or sewing. Now I'm reliably informed that even in her golden retirement years, Sheila would once again apply herself to tennis. Joining the Dorridge Tennis Club, she was soon playing in regular doubles matches. Not long after she picked up a tennis racket, Sheila was selected to play for the ladies' team at Norman Green and Knoll. She was a proper little terrier at the net, as her competitive spirit would demand to be set free. Sheila's fighting spirit was always something that was admired by many, and when she was first diagnosed with cancer in 2010, it wasn't long before she had beaten it and was back on the courts of the tennis club. In 2017, Sheila and Peter celebrated their golden wedding anniversary, having spent 50 wonderful and happy years married. They threw a big celebratory party inviting friends from all over the width and breadth of the UK. Just last October, the two enjoyed a final holiday to Turkey and a river cruise on the Danube, unaware that just 3 months later their worlds would be turned upside down. On New Year's Day this year, Sheila was rushed to hospital and received life-saving surgery the following day to remove a cancerous growth. Sadly, by this point, it had already spread and the diagnosis was bleak. However, although devastated by the blow, Peter, Penny and Susan, Sheila included, were all thankful for the little extra time they had and the help they received from medical and care staff and the NHS. When Peter kindly sent me an email with some highlights of Sheila's life and their time together, attached were some words from Penny and Susan. Hope they won't mind if I share these with you. Penny went on to say, "My mum was a beautiful woman and I loved her very much. I will always remember how caring she was, especially when I wasn't well or upset. I've tried to recreate her tender touch with my own children. I really appreciated how our relationship changed as I grew older and had my own family. She got to enjoy playing with and looking after Edward and William, and I'm so glad we lived close so she could be a big part in our lives. Ed and Will always have lovely memories of their grandma. I will also treasure our time going out with my mum and sister on special days out to enjoy afternoon teas and even some pottery throwing and enjoying each other's company as friends." Susan went on to say, "My mum was the most beautiful woman in the world. She would comfort me when I was poorly or upset. She was tender but strict, not giving in to my whims. She wanted the best for me and my sister and taught me so much: cooking, cleaning, sewing, the values of working hard and being kind. I remember walking to school holding hands and never wanting to let go. As I grew up, our relationship changed and we enjoyed many days out and countless shopping trips. She usually had to buy something. She was creative and helped me with many sewing projects. Most of the things in my home were gifts from her or things she helped to choose. She got me interested in the family tree, and she had traced her own line back many generations. She was always proud of her grandfather, who lost his own life to save his children from a bolting horse. We shared a wonderful trip to old family haunts in 2018 with her Canadian second cousins, visiting the farm the family lived in and having lunch at the family's old pub. I'm very glad to have been able to care for her in the final weeks." The same things resonate throughout both the girls' words, and that's how caring Sheila was, how proud she was, and how loved she was. I'd like to welcome Penny to join me, as I believe she has a poem she would like to share.
Thank you. Oh, lovely. This poem's called Afterglow. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing time and bright and sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun. Think of all the happy memories I leave when life is done.
We now have a very special and beautiful tribute from Susan to her mum.
So, my mum's favourite tree was the rowan tree. Being very proud to be Scottish, she would always insist that I pronounced it rowan tree rather than rowan tree. And so I then try and perform that song.
tie be dear to me. Entwined thou art with many ties of pain and infancy.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that with us. We now, with heavy hearts, enter into our final farewells. It is now that we take all that we know and love of Sheila and commit this forever to our memory banks as we transform our relationship with her from one of physical presence to one of everlasting memory. Could I ask those of you who feel able to please stand for this part of the service? Sheila, what joy you have brought to our lives. Our hearts have been ever touched by you, our lives ever enriched, our memories ever remembered with pure love and thankfulness. There are not enough words to thank you for being to us the influence that you were and will remain. As we join together and unite today to wish you well, we do so knowing that you are always with us as we move forward. As we gently commit your body back to nature, into the heart of the world you so loved and enjoyed, we know that there will come a day when one by one we shall be called and our paths will once again cross. Until that day should come, we let you go. We will love you, we will miss you, but we know this is not forever. With sorrow, we bid you farewell. With much love, we leave you in peace. Thank you. If you could please now take your seats. I invite those of you who may wish to do so to join me as we recite the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. As we conclude our service here today, I would like to personally thank Peter, Penny and Susan for the honour and privilege of delivering Sheila's life story. It really has been a wonderful story to tell, and I am so awe-inspired by you all. The life you have had and the times and the love you have shared. Truly very special indeed. Before we softly leave today, I ask you to remember just one thing. All that Sheila was to you, she still is. Her influence remains in you, Let the memories she has left you throughout her life continue to make you smile and continue to make you laugh. We know that this is how she would want to be remembered by you. Yes, we have said farewell to her physical being, but because one is out of sight does not necessarily mean that they are ever out of mind. So long as Sheila remains in here and in here, the flame of her love and memory will remain alight. It will be the memories you share with each other, the traits of Sheila that you possess, and the stories you pass down throughout the generations that will keep her alive within you. The coming days, weeks, and months will be difficult, there is no doubt. But with the admirable strength and closeness that you have as a family, you have a wonderful support network in each other. It will be a rocky road at times with its ups and downs, but go with the flow, because Sheila will protect you as best as she can from afar. A personal thanks also goes out from Sheila's family to all of her tennis buddies, to the amazing NHS and to the amazing care staff. They thank you for all your support and devotion throughout. Sheila, what a wonderful legacy you have left. Good night. May God bless you and keep you, and may you sleep well. Thank you.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way.
I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new,
I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
I'll see you in that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well.
I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way.